Graph the solution set to x is less than or equal to 2 or x is greater than 6 and express it in interval notation. This is different from the previous compound inequalities. The previous ones were and inequalities, but this is an or inequality, which means we use the word or to connect the two. So this is an or inequality. And it's a little bit different. We're going to start off the same way. We're going to start by graphing both of the individual inequalities, and then we're going to talk about how we react differently in the situation of an or inequality. So I'm going to start with my number line. And our first inequality is x is less than or equal to 2. So we know that that is a closed circle on 2, and then we shade to the left. This is x is less than or equal to 2. The other one is x is greater than 6, which is an open circle on 6 and shading to the right. Now we're not looking for the overlap here because this is not an and inequality. This is an or inequality. It's a completely separate situation. So when it's an or inequality, we don't need both of them to be true because the word or means either one or the other is okay. So if we look at all of the points on this first interval, x is less than or equal to 2, every point on this interval satisfies the first inequality. And because we don't need both of them to be satisfied, we just need one of them to be satisfied, that means that every point on this interval automatically satisfies the first one, and so it automatically satisfies the compound inequality. So we can actually shade in everything that corresponds to this first inequality. And the same thing is true with the second interval. This second interval represents all of the numbers that are solutions to the inequality x is greater than 6. And so every point on this interval makes the second inequality true. And so automatically that makes it a solution to the compound inequality. So we're also going to shade in all of the points on the other inequality. When we have an or inequality, we are no longer looking for the overlap. Instead, we're going to shade in all solutions to both of the inequalities, or all solutions that work for either of the inequalities. So basically, shade in everything that solves at least one of the inequalities. It's a little bit wordier than our instructions for the and inequalities, because for the and ones we were just looking for the overlap. But here, any point that's a solution to either of the inequalities is going to be a solution to the compound inequality, and so everything that's underneath either of these intervals gets shaded in. The metaphor that I use here might be a little weird, but I haven't really thought of a better one. When we have an or inequality, pretend that it's raining above the number line, so we've got rain coming down everywhere, and one of these intervals is one umbrella, and the other interval is another umbrella. Now, when it's raining, if there are two umbrellas, you don't need to be under both of them. You need to be under one of them to be protected, or under the other one. So with an or inequality, we can shade in everything underneath one of them, and also everything underneath the other, because those are the parts of the number line that are protected from the rain from the intervals. So notice that none of the points on the first interval get wet because they've got their own umbrella here, and none of the points underneath the second one get wet because they've got an umbrella. So those are the parts that are safe from the rain, and so we shade in everything that's underneath either of them. In interval notation, this is actually a little bit different from what we've seen before because there are two different intervals, and there's a special way to deal with that. Basically, we write both of the intervals in interval notation. So the first one is parenthesis negative infinity, comma 2 bracket. And we write the other one, parenthesis 6, comma infinity, parenthesis. And in between, we put a symbol that we call the union symbol. And it's not quite the letter U because it doesn't have a tail. And even if it did, it wouldn't be the letter U. This is called the union symbol. But when our answer has two different intervals in it, and we want to write it in interval notation, then we kind of have to have something that connects them together, and we use the union symbol to do that. So the interval notation for this problem is going to be parenthesis -infinity, comma 2 bracket, union parenthesis 6 comma infinity closed parenthesis. And that's our final answer.